Welcome students. In today's session, we will learn how to write algorithms and flowcharts by taking a couple of examples. The first example is write an algorithm to find the sum and difference of two given numbers. So the problem given is we will have two numbers and we need to find the sum of two numbers, that is we need to add them, and second is find the difference, that is first number subtract second number.
As we know, the algorithm means a step-by-step procedure. Finite number of procedures I need to write. So as you know, the first step should be a start. Step 1, start I can mention. Step 1, colon. You see a two dots here. It is called as a colon. Step 1 is a start. Mandatorily we need to write the start as the step 1. Okay, then the next step is what? I should be reading the inputs, right? Once I begin, I need the inputs. Inputs for what purpose? Inputs for reading or knowing the two numbers. Okay, there could be, so those two numbers I will represent as A and B. So this A and B means what? A is the first number and B is the second number, for which I am going to perform sum and the difference. Okay, then so once I read the input, the next step should be what? I should be performing the sum. So step number 3 is going to be, I need to add A and B, that is A plus B you perform and then add that into another term called as an sum. So A plus B you perform and put it into a sum. Okay, then so the first step is taken care, that is addition is done. Now I need to perform the subtraction. That is, as the step number 4, I will perform A minus B and then that operation, whatever the result appears, that result I will store it into DIFF or called as diff. Okay, so what are the steps I have taken care? Started writing the algorithm, then input, that is read A and B, take the values for A and B, then what we need to calculate? We need to process A plus B and A minus B. So the respective results, that is addition result, store it in sum, and the subtraction, that is difference result, you store it in a diff. So once the solution, that is the process is done, what next we need to do? We need to output them, that is we need to show the results, right? So the next step would be output. What I need to output? The thing which I have calculated, that is sum I have calculated, so the sum I will output. And also I have calculated the difference which is there in the DIFF diff, that also I will output. So now just look into here whether did I solve the problem here? What was the given problem? Solve, that is find out the sum and difference of two numbers. In order to do that one, the first step mandatorily start I did, then read, that is take those values as an input, then calculate sum, that is add them, keep it in a sum, then take the difference, store it in a difference. So I did that. Then next step is what? I need to provide the output, that is the results I have to give it back. So the results are given as output, sum and diff. So I have completed all the steps, and I can say that the steps whatever I have written here all are simple as per the characteristics. Okay, they are simple. Each step is doing single operation. As you notice here, each step is doing a single task, right? And are they finite in number? Yes, they are finite in number. Within step, I started from step 1 and step 5 I can say the results are given. Then at the last step I can say that the stop. So I have written a finite number of steps here in order to provide the solution to the given problem. So this piece of information I can call it as an algorithm. Say step-by-step procedures are written here, okay, which are in finite in number. Finite means there are only 6. At the step number 6 I got to know the results here, and each steps are doing what? Each steps are performing a single task, right? And are they simple? Yes, obviously they are very simple and understandable. When I see any particular step, say step number 4, I can say diff equal to A minus B. What it indicates? I'm taking the difference of A and B and storing in diff. Step number 3, how it is understandable? A plus B. So sum equal to A plus B. Meaning is that I will perform A plus B, that is I will add the numbers and then store it into the sum. So this particular algorithm or this design is giving me a solution which is in the form of writing the procedures. So we call it as an algorithm. Okay. Now let us try to convert this algorithm into a flowchart. Meaning is that the same steps I will be trying to write in a picture format or a diagrammatic format. There are certain predefined shapes or the symbols we have seen earlier. So let us make use of those particular shapes and write the flowchart. To just give a quick recap, see here we have a start and stop. For start and stop, the shape we have discussed was the oval. For input and output, it is parallelogram. Then for the calculations, it is a rectangle. Okay, now as the step number 1, that is step 1 is a start, so I should be having an oval. Within the oval I can write the text as a start. Okay, then step 2 is for what purpose? It is for input the values. So input the values, shape we have studied it to be a parallelogram. Okay, and within this parallelogram if I write input A and B, it indicates that I am reading two values, two numbers A and B, right? Now I have to perform this second step, that is input, after doing the start. So I need to link these two together. That linking can be done by using an array, using an arrow here. So this arrow indicates, the arrow is towards downwards, that indicates start. From here the control is going to the next step, that is for the input. Okay, now then next step is what? Step 3, sum is equals to A plus B. Since A plus B is what? It is type of a calculation. In order to represent the calculation, there is a predefined shape by the name rectangle. So that rectangle I will draw and then I will connect it towards the down using the down arrow, and within the rectangle I will write it to be a sum is equals to A plus B. So just by looking at this particular shape, I can say that this is performing certain calculations, right? Then the next step is step number 4, diff equal to A minus B. So again it is going to be what? It is going to be a calculation. So again I have to use a rectangle. Okay, before using the rectangle I need to draw a arrow and then draw a rectangle, and within the rectangle write it as a diff A minus B. So each of these steps I am trying to put or represent in the pictorial diagrammatic representation or pictorial representation. So the next step is what? The step number 5 is output. Output means I need to show the results. Again for output operation there is a shape which is similar to the, or which is same as the input shape, that is parallelogram. So again an arrow, then parallelogram. Within the parallelogram I can mention output, sum, comma, diff. Okay, then the last step is stop. Again in order to show the representation of the stop in a diagram I have to use the oval. So oval I will use. So you may notice here for each of the steps, step 1 there is an corresponding shape here. Then for the input there is a shape here. Then for the calculation, that is sum, we do have one particular graphical representation or the diagram for that. So each of the steps which are part of the algorithm are pictorially or diagrammatically represented in the form of different shapes, which each of these shapes have a predefined meaning. When I just look into this particular flowchart, I can say this is the start, since it is an oval. This is again a oval, then obviously it is going to be a stop. Then there is a parallelogram. Parallelogram means either it has to be used as an input or an output. So at the beginning I would be interested in input, so it is an input, and at the end output. And in middle there might be certain calculations I would be performing. So all those calculations have to be done using the, or represented using the shape called as rectangle. So those are used, and each of the shapes are connected by an arrow mark. So the arrow mark, if you see here, it is towards the downwards. The arrow is towards downwards. That meaning is what? From this step to this step has to be completed. The flow is towards like this. The steps are done or executed in this particular manner. Okay, I hope this particular simple example is understood, students. Let's go ahead and try to write an algorithm and flowchart for the another example. So let us say the another example, write an algorithm to find the area and the circumference of a circle. The problem is what? I need to find out the area and the circumference of a circle. So what are the things I would be interested in? What could be the inputs? Input could be the radius. I need the radius of the circle. Then only I will be able to find out the area and as well as circumference. So if I get the radius, then what are the calculations I have to perform? In order to calculate area, I know the formula. Area is equals to pi r square, where pi value is going to be 3.14 or 3.142, whatever value we choose it to be. And for the circumference of a circle, the formula is going to be 2 pi r. So I know the calculations part. So only thing is required, the input I required as the radius. Let us write things in an algorithm. Obviously, the first step is going to be start. Second step would be what? Read. That is input. Input what? The radius. So I will mention it as a input r. So as a shorthand, I am using just r there. That r indicates the radius of the circle whose area and circumference I am going to calculate. So input is done. Obviously, the next step will be, in order to calculate the area or the circumference, I want to know the value of the pi. So that pi I will assign with 3.14. So if I use pi, the value is going to be 3.14. Okay. Then in the next step, area is equals to pi into r into r. See, you may see this area is equal to pi r square. That r square is written in a different manner here. Okay, in a programmatic or in an algorithm, we will not write r square. Instead of that, we write r into r. And you may see this star here. That star indicates it is multiplication operation. This star indicates multiplication operation. So area is equals to pi into r, that is pi r square. So we calculated the area here. And what is the next step? To calculate circumference. So circum, I am just using a short or a keyword here, circum. So that circum is equals to 2 into pi into r. Okay, now one thing you need to remember here, when in the input if I use r, then in the processing, wherever I do the calculation, if I want to use this radius, I should be only using r here. I cannot write again here as a radius or a rad, right? I cannot use that. Since I have said that r is going to be radius, then wherever I want to access that radius, I should be representing as the r itself. And here you may see I have used circum, where I am storing the calculation which I did here, 2 pi r, that I am storing in the something called as an circum, right? If I want to display, okay, as an output, as a result, I should be using circum itself. I cannot write it as a circumference there in the algorithm. So the output should be what? Area. The way how I have written here, the same way I have to write here as area, and then circum, the same way I need to write it. Okay, that is the best method to write the algorithms. Suppose if you write an circum here and you write it as an circumference here, then it is going to be a wrong thing. Don't do like that. The names or the words how we have used in the previous steps, the same thing we need to use it in the further calculations. Okay, then so the steps what are required in order to calculate the area and circumference. We need the input as the radius, and we want to know the pi value that we did. Then calculate the area and circumference based upon these two formulas, and once it is calculated, get them stored into this area and circum, and then just output them. Okay, so the steps are done. The last step is going to be a stop. Again, you may see here each step is doing a single task. They are simple, they are finite in numbers, right? So this is the algorithm. Now the same algorithm now we will be trying to convert into a flowchart, right? Again, we know flowchart means it will consist of pictures of the symbols, right? For start and stop, it is going to be a oval. For input and output, it is going to be a parallelogram, and for any type of operations, assignments or the calculations, it is going to be a rectangle, right? And each of those symbols should be connected using the arrows. So the first one is a start within an oval. Then next is the input, so that input is represented in a parallelogram, input R. Then the next will be pi value. We are going to initialize at pi is equals to 3.14, and this, since it is an initialization, or the initialization means we are assigning some value, that is 3.14, to something called as a pi, right? So we call it as an initialization, right? So pi we did, so it should be within the symbol named as a rectangle. Then again we have the calculations next as the step 4 and step 5. So again it should be what? Within the rectangle, as area equal to pi into r and circum equal to 2 into pi into r. Again I want to highlight one point here. In the algorithm you may see here I am using r as an input. In flowchart again I should use r itself. I cannot change it to be an input radius here. You may lose marks. So we are just trying to convert it into a flowchart. So try to use the same terms, okay, which we use in the algorithm. And here I am using pi in capital letters, pi, then the same pi has to be used here. For storing the area I am using area, area, same area I have to use here. And even for the circumference, for circumference I am using circum, circum, the same I have to use in the flowchart, right? I should not vary in using or I should not use different words or the letters here, okay? Now the next step, that is step number 7, is the stop. At stop again has to be, before stop we need to do the output. So output again has to be performed in an parallelogram. So use an arrow and get connected with the parallelogram and put the message as output area comma circum, and the final shape is stop. So again you may notice here each steps are represented with the respective shapes here. Each steps in the algorithm are represented with the respective shapes. Start and stop, oval, input and output, parallelogram, and then the initialization and the calculations are done in a rectangle, and each of these shapes are connected with an arrow indicating the flow. You may see here the flow, how it is happening, either if in the algorithm or a flow chart. It is a sequential. There is a sequence. Each steps are executed one after the other. We neither have a condition nor the iteration. So as of now in the simple examples, only the sequential part we are taking care. Each steps are executed one after the other. Okay, I hope these examples are understood, students. In the upcoming sessions we will go ahead and try to use the different types of examples or little complex examples or the problems in order to write the algorithms and flowcharts. I hope you understood the concepts. If there are any doubts, you may just put the comments in the video. I will get back to you. Thank you, students.